let's say, uh, all their positions so that they can't be hurt. And
Hmm.
then here comes somebody that shows a type of living entity they've never seen before.
Hmm.
Half lion, half man, and gigantic and really, really angry. It's enough to frighten anyone. So let's see what happens. Text 18. While Hiranyakashipu looked all around to find the source of the sound, that wonderful form of the Lord, which could not be ascertained to be either a man or a lion, emerged from the pillar. In amazement, Hiranyakashipu wondered, what is this creature that is half man and half lion? Imagine how frightening that is. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. A demon cannot calculate the unlimited potency of the Supreme Lord. As stated in the Vedas, Purasya Shakti Vividaya Vasriyate Swabhavaki Jnana Bala Kriya Sha. The different potencies of the Lord are always working as an automatic exhibition of his knowledge. For a demon, it is certainly wonderful that the form of a lion and the form of a man can be united, since a demon has no experience of the inconceivable power for which the Supreme Lord is called all powerful. Demons cannot understand the omnipotent power. They simply compare the Lord to one of them. Avajanantimam Buddha Manasim Tanam Asrita. In other words, they can't imagine that there's someone more powerful than themselves. And then here comes this amazing creature, half man, half lion, in a gigantic form and making a terrible sound. And it's just completely flummoxed, completely confused. You've never seen anything like this. Mudha's rascals think that Krishna is an ordinary human being who appears for the benefit of other human beings. Parambhavam ajananta, fools, rascals, demons, cannot realize the supreme potency of the Lord. But he can do anything and everything. Indeed, he can do whatever he likes. When Hiranyakashipu received the benedictions from his Lord Brahma, he thought that he was safe, since he received the benediction that he would not be killed either by an animal or by a human being. He never thought that an animal and human being would be combined so that demons like him would be puzzled by such a form. This is the meaning of the supreme personality of Godhead's omnipotence. In other words, his complete power. Nothing is greater than his complete power. Okay, so text 19 to 22. Hiranyakashipu studied the form of the Lord, trying to decide who the form of the Shringadeva standing before him was. The Lord's form was extremely fearsome because of his angry eyes, which resembled molten gold. Oh, God. His shining mane, it's the hair on his face, which expanded the dimensions of his fearful face, his deadly teeth, and his razor sharp tongue, which moved about like a dueling sword. His ears were erect and motionless, and his nostrils and gaping mouth appeared like caves of a mountain.
Hmm.
Imagine that. His jaws parted fearfully, and his entire body touched the sky. His neck was very short and thick, his chest broad, his waist thin, and the hairs on his body as white as the rays of the moon. His arms, which resembled flanks of soldiers, spread in all directions. As he killed the demons, rogues, and atheists with his conch shell, disc, club, lotus, and other natural weapons. Oh boy. Hiranyakashipu is completely flummoxed, completely confused, completely scared. I've never seen anything like this before. Hiranyakashipu murmured to himself. That means he's really scared. He's talking to himself. Lord Vishnu, who possesses great mystic power, has made this plan to kill me. But what is the use of such an attempt? Who can fight with me? Oh, it's not defeated yet. Thinking like this and taking up his club, Hiranyakashipu attacked the Lord like an elephant. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In the jungle, there are sometimes fights between lions and elephants. Here, the Lord appeared like a lion, and Hiranyakashipu, unafraid of the Lord, attacked him like an elephant. Generally, the elephant is defeated by the lion, and therefore the comparison in this verse is appropriate.
Hmm.
Text 24. Just as a small insect falls forcefully into a fire, and the insignificant creature becomes invisible, in other words, burns to death. When Hiranyakashipu attacked the Lord, who was full of effulgence, Hiranyakashipu became invisible. This is not at all astonishing, for the Lord is always situated in pure goodness. Formerly, during creation, he entered the dark universe and illuminated it by his spiritual effulgence. Yeah, Krishna can do anything. Purport. The Lord is situated transcendently in pure goodness. The material world is generally controlled by tamo guna, the quality of ignorance. But the spiritual world, which, because of the presence of the Lord and his effulgence, is free from all contamination by darkness. Passion or contaminated goodness. Although there is a tinge of goodness in the material world in terms of the Brahminical qualifications, such qualifications sometimes become invisible because of the strong prevalence of the modes of passion and ignorance. But because the Lord is always transcendently situated, the material modes of passion and ignorance cannot touch him. Whenever the Lord is present, there cannot be any darkness from the mode of ignorance. It is stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 22:31. Krishna Surya Sama Maya Haya Andhakara. Yahan Krishna Tahan Nahi Mayara Adhikara. God is light. Nescience is darkness. Where there is Godhead, there is no nescience, meaning ignorance. This material world is full of darkness and ignorance of spiritual life. But by bhakti yoga, this ignorance is dissipated. the Lord appeared because of the bhakti yoga exhibited by Prahlad Maharaj. And as soon as the Lord appeared, the influence of Hiranyakashipu's passion and ignorance was vanquished as the Lord's quality of pure goodness. Wow. See, that just shows that pure goodness can overcome all sorts of evil. And it's an amazing statement. Usually people think that, evil overcomes goodness, but actually pure goodness overcomes evil. You got to think about that. Very interesting. So it says here, the Lord appeared. The influence of Hiranyakashipu's passion and ignorance was vanquished as the Lord's quality of pure goodness, or the Brahman effulgence, became prominent. In that prominent effulgence, Hiranyakashipu became invisible, or his influence became insignificant. Wow, that's amazing. It just shows that the purest dedication to Krishna can overcome all kinds of darkness and ignorance. An example illustrating how the darkness of the material world is vanquished is given in the Shastra. When Brahma was created from the lotus stem growing from the abdomen of Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Lord Brahma saw everything to be dark. But when he received knowledge from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, everything became clear. As everything becomes clear when one comes from night to sunshine. The important point is that as long as we are in the material modes of nature, we are always in darkness. That's a fact. This darkness cannot be dissipated without the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is invoked by the practice of bhakti yoga. When it says which is invoked, it means how it becomes apparent. So when there's bhakti yoga, devotional service to the Lord, bhakti yoga creates a transcendental situation with no tinges of material contamination. Yes, that's a fact. That bhakti yoga can overcome all sorts of contamination, material contamination. Text 25. Thereafter, the great demon Hiranyakashipu, who was extremely angry, swiftly attacked Nrsingadeva with his club and began to beat him. Lord Nrsingadeva, however, captured the great demon along with his club, just as Garuda might capture a great snake. Text 26. O Yudhishthira, O great son of Bharata, when Lord Nrsingadeva gave Hiranyakashipu a chance to slip from his hand, just as Garuda sometimes plays with a snake and lets it slip from his mouth, the demigods who had lost their abodes and who were hiding behind the clouds for fear of the demon did not consider that incident very good. Indeed, they were perturbed. Well, yeah, I mean, the Lord is just playing games, right?
Because
and the demigods get frightened because he lets the demon free for a second or two. It's just like animals. They do this too. They play.
they poke at it and then let it feel like it can run away.
Before they kill the
Prey.
the
The prey.
Yeah. They play with it.
But I think in this case, the Lord also had to give him some time until the evening.
Oh, really?
I think that's what I believe. So he comes in the afternoon, but then he has to wait because he cannot kill him in the daytime or something like that, right? So he has to wait for the Sandhya.
Okay, text 26, purport. When Hiranyakashipu was in the process of being killed by Lord Nrsimhadev, the Lord gave the demon a chance to slip from his clutches. This incident was not very much appreciated by the demigods, of course, for they were greatly afraid of Hiranyakashipu. They knew that if somehow or other Hiranyakashipu escaped from the Shringadeva's hands and saw that the demigods were looking forward to his death with great pleasure, he would take great revenge upon them. Yeah, of course. It's like a wild animal that you think is subdued, then escapes. Therefore, they were very much afraid. This is a test to see if the devotee has full faith in Krishna or not. Someone who has a devotee has full faith in Krishna, he's not afraid, even if it looks as if the demons are getting the higher. They get free of so that they can commit more dangerous behavior. Text 27. When Hiranyakashipu was freed from the hands of Nrsimhadeva, he falsely thought that the Lord was afraid of his prowess. Therefore, after taking a little rest from the fight, he took up his sword and shield and again attacked the Lord with great force. Okay, well, here in the Kashipu, you're going to be surprised by what's going to happen now. Purport. When a sinful man enjoys material facilities, foolish people sometimes think, how is it that the sinful man is enjoying, whereas a pious man is suffering? Very good question. By the will of the Supreme, a sinful man is sometimes given the chance to enjoy the material world as if he were not under the clutches of the laws of nature. I'm sorry. Under the clutches of the material nature, just so that he may be fooled. A sinful man who acts against the laws of nature must be punished. But sometimes he is given a chance to play, exactly like Hiranyakashipu when he was released from the hands of the Nrsimhadeva. Hiranyakashipu was destined to be ultimately killed by Nrsimhadeva. But just to see the fun, the Lord gave him a chance to slip from his hands. I have seen this. We used to have a cat a long time ago. And this cat sometimes would catch a rat, not a rat, but a mouse. And he would play with it. He didn't kill it right away. He would attack it, and then he'd leave it alone a little bit, and the mouse would try and get away, and again he would attack it. And he was just playing with the mouse. And eventually he killed it. I've seen that. And the same thing is happening here. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is playing with Hiranyakashipu before he kills him. Okay, text 28. Making a loud, shrill sound of laughter. That'll frighten anyone. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, who is extremely strong and powerful, captured Hiranyakashipu, who was protecting himself with his sword and shield, leaving no gaps open. With the speed of a hawk, Hiranyakashipu, a hawk is a bird, a very powerful bird. Hiranyakashipu moved, sometimes in the sky and sometimes on the earth. His eyes closed because of fear of Nisringadeva's laughter. Whoa. Text 29. As a snake captures a mouse, see, there it is right there, or a Garuda captures a very venomous snake, Lord Nisringadeva captured Hiranyakashipu, who could not be pierced even by the thunderbolt of King Indra. As Hiranyakashipu moved his limbs here, there, and all around, very much afflicted at being captured, Lord Nisringadeva placed the demon on his lap, supporting him with his thighs, and in the doorway of the assembly hall. The Lord very easily tore the demon to pieces with the nails of his hand. Okay, so now he's not killed by a weapon, and he's killed by the nails of this creature uh, that, that has never been seen before. See, he thought, Hiranyakashipu thought that he got a benediction that made him immune to be killed, that he would never be killed. And he got so many ways that he would be protected. He never could imagine that a half lion, half man would kill him because he had never seen a creature like that. So therefore, he was tricked by the uh, Supreme Personality Godhead Krishna. Purport: Hiranyakashipu had received from Lord Brahma the benediction that he would not die on the land or in the sky. Therefore, to keep the promise of the Lord Brahma intact, Nisringadeva's Brahma intact, Nisringadeva placed Hiranyakashipu's body on his lap, which was neither the land or sky. Hiranyakashipu had received the benediction that he would not die either during the day or the night. Therefore, to keep this promise of Brahma, the Lord killed Hiranyakashipu in the evening, which is the end of, of day and the beginning of night. But it is neither day nor night. Hiranyakashipu had taken a benediction from Lord Brahma that he would not die from any weapon or be killed by any person, dead or alive. Therefore, just to keep the word of Lord Brahma, Lord Nisringadeva pierced Hiranyakashipu's body with his nails, which were not weapons and were neither living nor dead. Yeah, that's a fact. Indeed, the nails can be called dead, but at the same time, they can be said to be alive. To keep intact all of Lord Brahma's benedictions, Lord Nisringadeva paradoxically means uh, completely different than what one thinks should be happening. Lord Nisringadeva paradoxically but very easily killed the great demon Hiranyakashipu. Okay. Don't mess with super beings, supernatural beings. So definitely Lord Nrsingadeva is a supernatural being. It is not an ordinary human being. Text 30. Lord Nrsingadeva's mouth and mane, meaning the uh, hairs on his chin, were sprinkled with drops of blood, and his fierce eyes, full of anger, were impossible to look at. Licking the edge of his mouth with his tongue, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Nrsingadeva, decorated with a garland of intestines, dedicated with a garland of intestines, taken from Hiranyakashipu's abdomen. Just imagine. He's opened the abdomen of the demon, and he's playing with his intestines. Resemble the lion that has just killed an elephant. Purport. The hair on Lord Nrsingadeva's face, being sprinkled with drops of blood, was reddish and looked very beautiful. Lord Nrsingadeva pierced Hiranyakashipu's abdomen, meaning like his lower stomach part, with his nails, pulled out the demon's intestines, and wore them as a garland, which enhanced his beauty. Wow, what a vision that is. Thus the Lord became very fearsome, like a lion engaged in fighting elephants. The Supreme Personality of God, who had many, many arms, first uprooted Hiranyakashipu's heart. Oh boy, now we're having a what you would call a dissection of Hiranyakashipu's body. So uprooted Hiranyakashipu's heart, and then threw him aside and turned toward the demon's soldiers. These soldiers had come in thousands to fight with him, and with raised weapons, and were very faithful followers of Hiranyakashipu. But Lord Nrsingadeva killed all of them merely with the ends of his nails. Wow, just imagine how. Well, yeah, if you see a big wild bear, these bears, they have these long nails, extremely dangerous. They can rip apart your skin like anything. But here, the Nrsingadev is on what you would call um, his gigantic nails that are invincible, and he's tearing apart the body of Hiranyakashipu. Purport. Since the creation of the material world, there have been two kinds of men, the devas and the asuras, or the devotees and the demons. The devas are always faithful to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whereas the asuras, or the demons, are always atheists who defy the supremacy of the Lord. At the present moment, throughout the entire world, the atheists are extremely numerous. Yeah. You see, previously, like in the time of Hiranyakashipu, there were just a few demons. But today, there are many demons. And many, many demons. It's not just few like in ancient times. They are trying to prove that there is no God and that everything takes place due to combinations and permutations of the material elements. Thus, the material world is becoming more and more godless. That is true. That's definitely true. And consequently, everything is in a disturbed condition. That's because of false uh, education. The education today is breeding atheists, not devotees. And as atheists, they become convinced of false concepts, and ultimately they will be vanquished. So here it says, if this continues, the Supreme Personality of Godhead will certainly take action, as he did in the case of Hiranyakashipu. Within a second, Hiranyakashipu and his followers were destroyed. And similarly, if this godless civilization continues, it will be destroyed in a second. Wow. Jai Prabhupada. Simply by the movement of one's finger of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Wow, what a statement that is. Oh my God. The demons should therefore be careful, curtail their godless civilization. They should take advantage of the Krishna consciousness movement and become faithful to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise, they are doomed. And Hiranyakashipu was killed in a second. The godless civilization can be destroyed at any moment. Whoa. Listen what Prabhupada is saying here. Such powerful words. And they're truthful words. They're not high in the sky. These are real, let's say, what you would call uh, warnings. Don't mess with Krishna. 32. The hair on the Shringadeva's head shook the clouds and scattered them here and there. His glaring eyes stole the effulgence of luminaries in the sky, and his breathing agitated the seas and oceans. Because of his roaring, all the elephants in the world began to cry in fear. Oh boy. Imagine that. That's enough to scare everyone. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, as the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Yad Yad Vibhutimat Sattvam Srimad Urjitam Evava Tat Tad Eva Gacha Tvam Mama Tejo Misha Sambhavam. Know that all beautiful, glorious, and mighty creatures spring from but a spark of my splendor. The illumination of the planets and stars in the sky is but a partial manifestation of the Lord's effulgence. There are many wonderful qualities of different living entities, but whatever extraordinary things exist are but part of the Lord's tejas, his illumination or brilliance. The deep waves of the seas and oceans and the many other wonders within creation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead all become insignificant when the Lord, in his special feature, incarnates within this material world. Everything is insignificant in comparison to his personal, all-defeating, transcendental qualities. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yeah, don't mess with Krishna. You don't realize how powerful the Lord is. Text 33. Airplanes were thrown were thrown into outer space and the upper planetary system by the hair on the Shringadeva's head. Airplanes, my God. Just imagine. It's like playing with the hair and completely destroying it. Because of the pressure of the Lord's lotus feet, the earth appeared to slip from its position. Dangerous. And all the hills and mountains sprang up due to his intolerable force. Because of the Lord's bodily effulgence, both the sky and all directions diminished in their natural illusion. No, their natural illumination. That means that everything has become dark, and there's an intolerable force that has sprung up. And in other words, it's a complete disaster, threatening the life of all living entities. Purport that there were airplanes flying in the sky long, long ago can be understood. Very interesting statement. Yeah, it's true. From this verse, Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken 5,000 years ago, and the statements of this verse prove that the symptoms of a very advanced civilization then existed. Important statements. Modern scientists and philosophers foolishly explain that there was no civilization prior to 3,000 years ago. They don't know anything. But the statement of this verse nullifies such whimsical judgment. The Vedic civilization existed millions and millions of years ago. It existed since the creation of this universe, and it included arrangements all over the universe with all the modern amenities and even more. Wow. Harivilas Prabhupada. Thank God we have Prabhupada to know what the truth is. Text 34. Manifesting a full effulgence and a fearsome countenance. Lord Nrsimha, being very angry and finding no contestant to face his power. Yeah, they all ran away. They were all afraid of him. And his power and opulence. Then sat down in the assembly hall on the excellent throne of the king. Because of his fear and obedience, no one could come forward to serve the Lord directly. Yeah, everyone's frightened. There's only one person that's not frightened. That's Prahlad Maharaj. Let's see what it says now. When the Lord sat on the throne of Hiranyakashipu, there was no one to protest. No enemy came forward on behalf of Hiranyakashipu to fight with the Lord. This means that his supremacy was immediately accepted by demons. Yeah, they had never seen anything like the Shringa did. Another point is that although Hiranyakashipu treated the Lord as his bitterest enemy, he was the Lord's faithful servant in Vaikuntha. Interesting. And therefore, the Lord had no hesitation in sitting on the throne with Hiranyakashipu, sitting on the throne that Hiranyakashipu had so laboriously created. That means with a lot of effort, he created this wonderful seat. And now, Hiranyakashipu is has lost his seat, and Nrsimhadev is taking over. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur remarks in this connection. that sometimes, with great care and attention, great saintly persons and rishis offer the Lord valuable seats dedicated with Vedic mantras and tantras. But still, the Lord does not sit upon those thrones. Hiranyakashipu, however, had formerly been Jaya, the doorkeeper at the Vaikuntha gate. Now, that's very interesting knowledge. Jaya, there's Jaya and Vijaya. So Hiranyakashipu is Jaya. And although he had fallen because of the curse of the Brahmanas and had gotten the name of a demon, and although he had never offered anything to the Lord as Hiranyakashipu, the Lord is so affectionate to his devotee and servant that he nonetheless took pleasure in sitting on the throne that Hiranyakashipu had created. In this regard, it is to be understood that a devotee is fortunate in any condition of his life. Okay, so Hiranyakashipu had been Jaya, the doorkeeper of Vaikuntha. Very, very good thing to know. Okay, next. Text 35. Hiranyakashipu had been exactly like a fever of meningitis in the head of the three worlds. Oh my God, it's like a big headache. Thus, when the wives of the demigods in the heavenly planets saw that the great demon had been killed by the personal hands of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, their faces blossomed in great joy. The wives of the demigods again and again showered flowers from heaven upon Lord Nrsingadeva like rain. Rain of flower petals. Very nice. Text 36. At that time, the airplanes of the demigods who desired to see the activities of the Supreme Lord Narayana crowded the sky. The demigods began beating drums and kettle drums, and upon hearing them, the angelic women began to dance, while the chiefs of the Gandharvas sang sweetly. Second. My dear King Yudhisthira, the demigods then approached the Lord. They were headed by Lord Brahma, King Indra, and Lord Shiva, and included great saintly persons and the residents of Pitriloka, Siddhaloka, Vidyadhara Loka, and the planet of the snakes. The Manus approached, and so did the chiefs of various other planets. The angelic dancers approached, as did the Gandharvas, the Charanas, the Yakshas. The inhabitants of Kinara Loka, the Vetalas, the inhabitants of Kimpurusha Loka, and the personal servants of Vishnu, like Sunanda and Kumuda. All of them came near the Lord, who glowed with intense light. They individually offered their obeisances and prayers, their hands folded at his heads. At his heads, yes. Okay. He had several, he had more than one head. Text 40. And then we'll end with this text 40. Lord Brahma prayed, my Lord, you are unlimited, and you possess unending potencies. No one can estimate or calculate your prowess, meaning your powers, and wonderful influence. For your actions are never polluted by the material energy. Through the material qualities, you very easily create the universe, maintain it, and again annihilate it. Yet you remain the same without deterioration. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Yeah, definitely. Purport. The activities of the Lord are always wonderful. His personal servants, Jaya and Vijaya, were confidential friends. Yet they were cursed, and they accepted the bodies of demons. Again, in the family of one such demon, Prahlad Maharaja was caused to take birth, to exhibit the behavior of an exalted devotee, and then the Lord accepted the body of Nrsingadeva to kill the same demon who, by the Lord's own will, had taken birth in a demoniac family. Therefore, who can understand the Lord's transcendental activities? Very good statement. No one can understand even the activities of his servants. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 23:39, it is said, Tandra Vaikya Kriya Mudra Vijneha Na Mujhaya. No one can understand the activities of the Lord's servants. Therefore, what to speak of the activities of the Lord? Who can understand how Krishna is benefiting the entire world? The Lord is addressed as Duranta Shakti because no one can understand his potencies and how he acts. Okay, we will stop right there on that statement. No one can understand his potencies and how he acts. Yes, that's an absolute fact. The Lord is beyond our understanding. However, we can simply surrender to the Lord. And that way we have the ability to understand something about the Lord. We'll never understand everything, but we'll understand something. And it says the Lord is addressed as Duranta Shakti because no one can understand his potencies and how he acts. That is our takeaway from today. Duranta Shakti. No one can understand the Lord's potencies and how he acts. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, my dear devotees. Please have a good day today. Meditate today on Duranta Shakti. That means that no one can understand the Lord's potencies and how it acts. But you can surrender to the Lord. Then you will be able to understand some things about the Lord if you surrender. If you don't surrender, you'll be flummoxed, you'll be confused, you will never really understand the Lord. So, surrender to the Lord is the best policy. And also, Tandra Vaikya Kriya Mudra Vijneha Na Ujhaya. No one can understand the activities of the Lord's servants. Therefore, what to speak of the activities of the Lord? Who can understand how Krishna is benefiting the entire world? The Lord is addressed as Duranta Shakti because no one can understand his potencies and how he acts. Yeah, so don't try and speculate either. Rather, surrender yourself to the Lord. Then the Lord at least is going to protect you. And although he has inconceivable potencies, you'll be able to be protected by the mercy of the Lord, and that will be enough to give you enough realization of the Lord to remain a faithful devotee in this lifetime. Okay, we will stop there. And the takeaway for today is the following. Who can understand how Krishna is benefiting the entire world? The Lord is addressed as Duranta Shakti because no one can understand his potencies and how he acts. That is our takeaway for today. So, what does that mean? That means that we should surrender to the Lord. We cannot conquer the Lord. We cannot understand everything about the Lord. But we can surrender to the Lord and live under his mercy. That will give us real knowledge and real life to serve the Lord with love and devotion. Thank you very much, my dear devotees. Have a good day today. Are there any questions or comments? Any questions or comments? Any questions or comments? Okay, then our takeaway is the statement. Tandra Vaikya Kriya Mudra Vijneha Na Pujaya. No one can understand the activities of the Lord's servants. Therefore, what to speak of the activities of the Lord? Who can understand how Krishna is benefiting the entire world? The Lord is addressed as Duranta Shakti because no one can understand his potencies and how he acts. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Take away for today, and thank you very much, my dear devotees. Have a good day. Chant Hare Krishna and meditate on the transcendental power